Awesome. And then about the REGEN token, right? I mean, you said it's kind of like disconnected, even though obviously you are in that field. So theoretically, with more, hype and demand around carbon credits, the REGEN ledger should also accrue more adoption, more value, and capture also more of that market share. And then REGEN as a governance token to manage this platform in a decentralized way. Theoretically could also accrue a lot of value. But what are some of the other reasons?
Right. Well, so you have to mint in order to mint an eco credit. There's a little lag.
No problem.
Talk over your
question? No, it's fine. It's fine. No worries.
Okay. Yeah. So in order to mint an eco credit, you have to burn REGEN. All right. So it's a utility token that allows you to create REGEN. It also governs and secures the ledger, which allows us to know who is saying what about where. It governs. It is going to be used as we unroll these subsequent upgrades. REGEN will be used to govern and probably collateralize eco credits. So the classes of eco credits. So there's going to be this stacked utility around REGEN as the foundation for securing the integrity of the origination system for eco credits. I think community members are already talking about, sort of like using REGEN to purchase ecological assets and build a protocol-owned reserve of these ecological assets, in which case you'd have a strong correlation between the value of ecological assets and REGEN, because it would kind of start owning its own liquidity and be providing that in the marketplace. That's a community decision, right? That people are engaged with and may or may not happen. But the core utility is really, governing, securing the system and being used to mint ecological assets, right? And we're sort of the ecological asset origination system for Cosmos world, basically.
Can you talk a little bit more about that mint and burn mechanism that you just said? So is it that like for every $10 worth of kind of like eco credit that you're minting, you have to burn $10 worth of REGEN, or how does it work?
I know at the moment, and this is all governed by the community, at the moment, I believe, I'd have to look back, but it's not a proportion of the value. It's just in any eco credit batch minting, you burn a set of REGEN. And I think it's, I think it's quite, I don't know, I think I'd have to look back at the docs, right? And it's a parameter that can be governed up or down. I want to say to create a basket where you're filtering and you can like make fungibility, you can sort of like make non-fungible tokens fungible. I think it was 1,000 REGEN. And I think it costs 1,000 REGEN because we want to constrict that. You don't want like tons of different baskets. You want to make it sort of like skin in the game. Is this really valuable? Do we really want to do it? And I think for minting eco credits, I think it's 10 REGEN maybe. But I have to look, honestly, I'd have looked back to the docs. That stuff all got sort of like done and my brain isn't,
Yeah, no, that's fair. No, I mean, I'm just curious because obviously Terra and Luna with UST, they have kind of like pioneered that concept of mint and burn, and obviously they have been doing
it's very different
well.
It is very different. I mean, I think there's a strong parallel. I think you could think of REGEN as like the eco Terra in a way, but we don't have we're not algorithmically minting and burning anything. Minting happens, at least at the moment. I think you will see over time some very interesting AI-driven verification and minting and cool token economics around eco credits, but we're not being hand-wavy and about any of that stuff. There is research happening. There's really fantastic open science community around REGEN. I mean, low key, we're doing cutting-edge ecological science and research, like at the leading edge, working with leading institutions, and a lot of that if people go and jam in the Discord, you'll see that there are people like having very interesting and serious science conversations about how to verify ecological state and quantify it and mint eco credits. And, and a lot of that stuff, it's like an iceberg. A lot of that stuff, like, it's not really a Discord centric community. There's people, anyway, it's like science. It's science. So it's different in that, like, it's not an algorithmic minting system. right? It requires a community of people to provide data and to do real world work to create carbon outcomes to result in the minting of an ecological asset, right? And that's, so it requires, it's like the proof of work, in quotes, you know, related to minting an eco credit is significant. You know, it's like there's a significant threshold there to do it. Well, in the case of an institutional credit. The other thing I would say, Cryptocito, and to the whole community, is that we're also, you know, one of our approaches is to make it open source and free for people to create their own eco credits. And people oftentimes are like, oh, well, what about the quality and other things? Well, okay, so it's easy to deal with quality with filters so that we can say, you know, did you qualify for this independent audit that, you know, is a standard, so that institutions who only want to buy institutional grade credits, that's all they see and that's all they're going to interact with. But then there can be this long tail of grassroots eco credits where neighborhoods are generating credits for community gardening or for cleanups out in their community and all these other cool things where you can spin up a, you know, a cool contract on Juno and then have an eco credit system on REGEN and be like funding community cleanup in your neighborhood all of a sudden in a super cool way. So I think we really want to see innovation and engagement on that like long tail, that it doesn't require an institution to tell you that it's good or not. But at the same time, we want to build the tools for transparency and sort of institutional grade asset generation, right? And in the case of NCT, that's what it is. This is an institutional grade carbon credit that's coming on chain that the community can use to offset itself and be used as sort of the first exposure to a carbon asset for the Cosmos ecosystem.
That's